Hello and welcome to the fantasy world of Tehran and my game design project, Primal, the Fourth Wall. For this project, I wanted to create a fantasy world and design a game around it, showcasing what I had in mind for the features of the game and its story. I took a short screenplay I had wrote previously and wanted to expand on the shape-shifting fantasy world I had created. Outside of the story for the game, I wanted to showcase what I had in mind for gameplay, and how the story I create can be translated into gameplay. I also wanted to be able to show what the game would look like in Engine, and created a 3D environment in the Unreal Engine to give a sense of the art style for the game. I will go through the story for the game now, but for a more detailed look into the storyline and narrative design for the game, please see the accompanying game design documents. In the original screenplay, we are introduced to Ishka, a young girl whose family is killed and her general father is kidnapped by creatures from another dimension, the Fourth Wall. She is adopted by Sabertooths and discovers her power to shapeshift into one. We then meet Edgar, a teen from a depressed fishing village who can shapeshift into a turtle. In a fit of rage, he kills his father and swims south. When he emerges, he meets Riven at an inn, the bear shapeshifter. He is on his way to find Ishka. With a red butterfly following their tracks, the two set off and locate Ishka at a clearing in the Ajara jungle. Before Riven and Ishka fight, the butterfly demonstrates how to change out of form to Ishka, who does so for the first time, revealing her teen body. The team decides to head north to help fight the Fourth Wall. This marks the end of the screenplay and onto the game's story. Ishka and the team reach their first stop on the way to Tulgun in the north. Astador is a walled noble city led by Griffin and Pegasus shapeshifters Nula and Phyla. After proving their worth in a fight, the team can stay here to rest briefly before continuing. The team set off from Astador in a magic caravan. As they leave, we are introduced to Breton. He can shapeshift into a very large three-headed hydra. He has red eyes that give away his powers. He learns some information about the team from civilians before changing forms and slaughtering them all. Ishka and the team arrive in Smail, a town filled with animal humanoids who are happy to see the heroes. After helping the town and resting a little, a portal from the Fourth Wall opens up and releases a giant earthworm. After defeating it, the team realise the creatures from the Fourth Wall are infected shapeshifters. The team decides to get moving north, the king, the leader of Smail, now accompanying them. Breton now arrives at Smail, repeating his actions, slaughtering the town. He then notices the dead earthworm shapeshifter and buries his body. We see a flashback revealing Breton's harsh childhood, being forced to fight in the pits of Kara. Returning to the team, they arrive in Hulpis. This is the magical hub of the world of Tehran. A rune on the ground reveals the magical power of people who stand on it. It is revealed that Edgar has extra special magical capabilities, and Ishka harnesses white magic, the rarest kind, making her almost godlike if she can hone her skills. Ishka and Edgar decide to stay here to learn more about their skills. Riven and the king go ahead, displeased to Tulgun. Breton arrives at Hulpis in the dead of night, revealing he also has white magic, and uses it to breach the walls of Hulpis and kidnap Ishka and Edgar. When they awake, they are caged in the fighting pits of Kara. Edgar fights off a vicious hedgehog shapeshifter. He then watches Ishka, who must fight the ringmaster, a bull shapeshifter. During the fight, her white magical power unleashes in her saber-tooth form, changing her appearance and increasing her power. Chaos ensues and Breton enters the pit. Ishka and Edgar cannot overwhelm Breton and the Kara forces, and Edgar is killed in front of Ishka. Before she enrages, Nula and Phyla's screeches fill the skies and they swoop in and pick Ishka from the ground. Flying away, we see Tulgun, as well as a massive purple portal to the Fourth Wall behind it. Now that you know the story, the world and its characters, let's get to the game. Seen on screen now are some shots taken from the 3D environment I made for the Unreal Engine. This environment is Hulpis, the magical hub of Tehran mentioned in the story. This environment should give you an idea as to how the game world would look, and the full video will be shown on my YouTube channel. When designing the gameplay, I took heavy inspiration from Fable and Skyrim. The game is an action role-playing, open-world game. The player controls one hero at a time. In free play areas, the other characters will follow around and assist in fights. Otherwise, they will be playing in character-specific areas or completing character-specific quest lines. Progression in this game is centred around the story, forcing the player to move on from entire game sections in order to accommodate Breton's gameplay. Once the player has completed a tutorial, they arrive in Astador and are introduced to the main game, free play, getting to play as each character with unique abilities and talent trees. The player is free to roam this biome of Turan, completing side quests and killing monsters to gain experience, or they can go straight ahead with the main storyline. But once a player has completed a game area, they cannot return, as they must then play as Breton, slaughtering the people of each town. On screen is a very basic version of what I imagine the UI would look like in-game. I looked into UIs from other games which had similar ability schemes and recognised it would be best to leave as much central screen space as possible. In an art-stylised, story-driven game, the UI should help draw the attention to the world, rather than the UI. Combat design for this game revolves around shapeshifting. Each playable character can shapeshift into another form, bound to north on controllers. East and west are ability and interaction controls. Switching forms allows each character to have up to 6 unique abilities, including aerials. Character's West ability is a 3-part basic combo, essential to have on every character for basic defense. East are character's special moves, sometimes requiring charge times. One key feature is the target lock-on with left trigger. Being able to toggle to target is extremely helpful in a game where a player is likely to be fighting multiple enemies at the same time. Finally, gameplay design for the characters is very important. I wanted the abilities to be satisfying to use and varied enough so that players would find characters with mechanics that they enjoy using the most and then utilise their talent tree to better their experience. For example, Edgar's aerial allows him to skid along the ground, exploding on the first enemy or surface hit. Not only is this satisfying, but it's fun. Players who enjoy this mechanic can then opt into talents in the tree that improve the turtle form aerial, eventually allowing him to leave a trail as he skids, which he can then ignite with magic. Thank you for listening. I hope you are interested in my game concept, and if you would like to discover more about Primal the Fourth Wall, head over to my website linked below. There you will find my other work alongside the game design documents, concept art and 3D work for the project.